William Joseph Blazkowicz is the embodiment of the indomitable human spirit. The Wolfenstein games by the company Machine Games are some of my favorites. I feel this type of linear single-player shooter with an emphasis on story has become rare. In an era dominated by open-world games and multiplayer experiences, Wolfenstein stands out as a throwback to a different time, while still feeling fresh and vital. Not only is the setting of Wolfenstein: The New Order and The New Colossus creative and intriguing, but the main character,
Captain Blazkowicz,
is one that really sets these games apart. He's not just another generic action hero, he's a complex character with depth and nuance, which is surprisingly rare in the realm of first-person shooters. He's someone who manages to survive anything thrown at him, often, it seems, through a sheer force of will. It's as if his determination alone can bend reality, allowing him to endure situations that would break most people. This isn't just plot armor, it's a fundamental aspect of who Blazkowicz is as a character. Here he is, surviving a plane crashing directly into him. This moment is almost comical in its extremity, yet it perfectly encapsulates Blazkowicz's character. He doesn't just survive, he thrives in the face of impossible odds. It's as if the universe can't bring itself to extinguish his burning desire to fight on.
You're still breathing, you chummy bastard. You're tough as they come, you know. Jesus Christ. Mayday!
He's someone with a mission.
and kill all the Nazis?
And kill all the Nazis.
And in the first game, his main target is General Wilhelm Strasse, also known as Death's Head. This singular focus gives Blazkowicz a clarity of purpose that carries him through the darkest moments. It's not just about survival, it's about actively pushing back against a world that's gone terribly wrong. Blazkowicz's spirit endures not only through physical hardship, but mental stress as well. The games don't shy away from showing the psychological toll of constant warfare and witnessing atrocities. Yet Blazkowicz remains steadfast, a beacon of hope in a world gone mad. This is best exemplified in the choice you make after being captured by Death's Head. Do you sacrifice Wyatt, the young U.S. Army private who saved your life just a short while ago? Or do you sacrifice Fergus, the Scottish old friend of Blazko who's been leading you for the whole beginning section of the game? This moment is gut-wrenching, forcing not just Blazkowicz, but the player to make an impossible choice. It's a masterful bit of storytelling, making us complicit in the horror of the situation. We're not just watching Blazkowicz struggle, we're struggling right alongside him. I think many of us would freeze in this situation, unable to make a decision. But Blazkowicz doesn't have that luxury. He must act, must choose, because inaction is itself a choice with terrible consequences. It's also so insidious that you must choose who gets dissected instead of choosing who is spared.
All you need to do is look to the one you would have me dissect.
Not to mention the dialogue of each character, where Fergus accepts his fate.
It's okay, Blazko. It's a war. People die. My time's up, is up.
And Wyatt believes that you'll save him right up until Death's Head begins cutting.
Selection. Young, unspoiled, fresh, tender samples. Fatty tissues intact.
You will save me, won't you, sir? I know you can do it. Sir!
This psychological torture is almost worse than a physical pain, forcing Blazkowicz to actively participate in the death of a comrade. But despite differences in dialogue before their evisceration, they both end up the same way. This moment is haunting, a reminder that in the face of true evil, individual differences matter little. The horror is universal, transcending personality or background. The fact that Blasco can even think after witnessing such a horrible event, much less escape from the compound, speaks to his exceptional willpower. Lesser men would have been broken, given up, or lost their minds. But Blazkowicz pushes on, carrying the weight of his trauma, but never letting it stop him. Unfortunately, during his escape, he's taken out by some stray shrapnel and spends the next 14 years trapped in a quasi-comatose state, only remembering bits and pieces. Even in this state of helplessness, Blazkowicz's spirit doesn't dim. His body may be broken, but his will remains undefeated. He's only brought out of this state when the nurse taking care of him, Anya, is taken captive by the Nazi forces during the purge of the asylum ordered by Death's Head himself. It's telling that even after 14 years of inaction, Blazkowicz's first instinct is to protect others and to fight back against injustice. Through the dutiful care of Anya and the sheer force of his willpower, his atrophied limbs are once again stirred to their purpose, and Blazkowicz's spirit rises anew. This moment is almost mythic in its power, a fallen hero rising from his deathbed to once again take up the fight. Even after learning that the United States surrendered and the war has been over for many years, Blasco doesn't succumb to despair. He immediately tries to find resistance members, going so far as to break into likely one of the highest security prisons in the entire empire, and he frees whomever you didn't sacrifice all those years ago. Blazkowicz doesn't waste time lamenting the state of the world or mourning lost years. He immediately sets to work, showing that true heroism isn't about never failing, but about always getting back up. After a successful prison break, he immediately sets himself to work, tearing apart the regime with nary a moment to relax.
Do you have a moment?
Hast du Blazkowicz gesehen? Schon wieder mit dieser Unsinn. Mein Gott, was ist nur los mit diesen Leuten?
Well, almost no moments to relax. Though it's played for laughs, this brief moment of tenderness amidst the chaos serves to humanize Blazkowicz, reminding us that he's not just a killing machine, but a man with hopes, fears, and, well, desires. He even goes so far as to enter a labor camp under the guise of a prisoner, being tattooed, or more accurately branded, with a serial number. And he's doing this simply to get a chance at recruiting a potential ally. And despite seeing cruelty beyond measure, he presses on. This willingness to endure degradation and risk everything for the cause speaks volumes about Blazkowicz's character. To me, the line that encapsulates Blazkowicz's spirit the most is when he, once again, goes undercover, this time as a head Nazi researcher to a high-tech moon base. This man has been shot, beaten, stabbed, and tortured more times than I can count. He's seen the impossible cruelty that lives in the hearts of monsters masquerading as human. But what does he say now?
What's your status?
Well, I'm on the motherfucking moon.
The mouse on this one.
This moment of childlike wonder amidst all the horror is what makes Blazkowicz so compelling. He hasn't let the darkness of this world extinguish his capacity for awe and joy. It's a reminder that fighting against evil isn't just about anger or vengeance, but about preserving the beauty and wonder of the world. And after this, he removed the tattooed serial number he was given in the camp, further affirming his spirit. This act of defiance shows that Blazkowicz refuses to be defined by the cruelty inflicted upon him. He reclaims his identity, his humanity, in the face of a system designed to strip it away. And when he finally escaped the moon, he crash lands, only to then destroy the London Monitor, a giant robotic monstrosity which had crushed the resistance in the area before, and now they'll be able to rise again. Blazkowicz doesn't just fight for himself, he fights to inspire others, to show that resistance is possible even in the darkest of times. Now, as the resistance has gained a massive foothold due to Blasco's efforts, they can finally attack Death's Head directly once more. This moment feels like the culmination of everything Blazkowicz has fought for, a chance to strike at the heart of evil that has caused so much suffering. Blazko makes his way through Death's Head's compound, freeing the prisoners, or future test subjects, trapped there. He is then separated from the group to finally fulfill what he believes he was put on this earth to do. There's a sense of destiny here, of Blazkowicz facing his ultimate test. Even now, he's confronted by the demons of his past failure, as the companion you chose to sacrifice is having their new mechanical body puppeted against their will, trapped as a brain in a jar. Being confronted with this nightmarish scenario would break most people, but Blazkowicz faces it head-on, determined to right past wrongs. Blazkowicz fights and frees his old friend from their torment, and finally turns his sight onto the living symbol of all he despises, Wilhelmstrasse. A fierce battle ensues. Death's Head, in a massive mechanical suit representing the cold, soulless steel of his regime, and Blazkowicz, simply flesh and blood, representing the warmth and spirit of the resistance. This visual contrast perfectly encapsulates the themes of the game: the human spirit versus cold, inhuman tyranny. Eventually, Blazko triumphs, but not before receiving a seemingly fatal injury. However, he doesn't despair, but looks as the flame of resistance is passed on. Even in what he believes to be his final moments, Blazkowicz's thoughts are not of himself, but of the cause he's fought so hard for. It's a powerful ending to a powerful story, cementing William Joseph Blazkowicz as a true embodiment of the indomitable human spirit.
Blazko, do you read? Am I clear to fire?
You're clear.
Alright, so that is the third video under my belt, so I'm pretty happy about that. Things I improved for audio was I surrounded myself with a blanket to kind of like isolate the reverberations and stuff. Hopefully it makes that sound a lot better. Made sure my AC wasn't running while I was recording, so there's not too much in the way of like annoying background fan noise and that sort of thing. When it comes to video editing, I added in a bunch of edits, believe it or not, that of characters speaking or like a visual that's kind of supporting what I'm saying. Definitely room to improve on there for sure. But I think I did a pretty good job for my third outing. Anyway, if you enjoyed the video, please leave any feedback in the comments or anything like that, and like and subscribe and all that good stuff. Thank you very much.